Trump said, don't worry, this plant's not going to close. Don't move away. Stay here. And the plant closed and thousands of workers lost their jobs. Trump tricks people into thinking, I'm going to save you. I'm going to help you.
Something that I saw on Twitter the other day that I thought that you might be interested in just responding to, and that was the editor of Newsweek saying that Donald Trump is a New Deal Democrat, and that's why the left hates him. That's why the left has to destroy him, is because he's a New Deal Democrat, and so he's the ghost of pro-labor Democrats coming back to bite the left. So we'll let you end on your thoughts on that. You're being you've got a great poker face, so interested in your thoughts here.
I don't know who heads Newsweek nowadays, but if anyone says that Trump is a New Deal Democrat, that's an absurd statement. The New Deal was about empowering the little guy, creating a fairer economy, increasing wages for workers, and helping unions. But if you look at Donald Trump's, I'm from New York. I have followed Donald Trump for 30, 40 years. Even when he was a Democrat, even when he supported abortion, even when he was giving money to Bill and Hillary Clinton, I remember him back then. I thought he was a fraud back then, way before he became a Republican. He would cheat, and I wrote about labor, and he would be forever cheating construction contractors and regular workers, not paying them. And it was all about him trying. It was all there are two things about Trump: trying to show how rich he is and trying to show how many women he can get into bed with him. Those are the two things that motivated Donald Trump. And to say he was a New Deal Democrat, it's like saying a tiger in Africa is a New Deal. It doesn't make any sense. The main thing Trump did as president, his biggest accomplishment, was pass this huge tax break for the very rich and for corporations. And the average American just got peanuts. So it's just beyond absurd to say he's a New Deal Democrat like Franklin Roosevelt, who wanted to create a fairer economy for Americans. And as president, he rolled back all these things that President Obama did to increase safety for workers, to make millions more workers available for overtime. So to say Trump is a friend of workers, Trump went to Ohio and said to workers at a GM plant that was about to close, but before it closed, don't worry, this plant's not going to close. Don't move away. Stay here. And the plant closed, and thousands of workers lost their jobs. And Donald Trump kind of tricks people into thinking, I'm going to save you. I'm going to help you. And then he didn't. Anyway, yeah. So the main thing he does to help workers is to bash immigrants. And again, economic studies show that immigrants help build the American economy. Immigrants pick the strawberries and lettuce we eat, and they help hold down prices for everybody. And a lot of blue collar workers would be paying more for their food if it weren't for immigrants. A lot of workers need people to care for their 89-year-old grandmothers, and those are often immigrants. And having a healthy amount of immigrants is important for our economy. And yes, things are a little crazy at the border right now, but it's Trump just is so anti-immigrant. It's in a way that is hurting the economy and hurting many Americans. We are a nation of immigrants. And immigrants have done amazing things to build our nation.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
She's the opinion editor at Newsweek, Batya Ungar-Sargon. I don't know if you've heard of her, and she was in a thread with Ben Shapiro, and he said this is completely accurate in a reply to her saying Trump is a New Deal Democrat. So pretty perplexing. We retweeted her and said, you're welcome to come on the show and defend this. And so to her credit, she said, let's schedule something. So we're going to be talking to her next week. If she continues to, be willing to do this. And my first question is going to be, what do you think the New Deal is? What does that mean to you?
I'm trying to think, in what way could one construe Trump as being yes, Roosevelt had this wonderful works progress program to build bridges and tunnels and roads to put people back to work. Again, Trump talked about it. I remember Hillary said, I'm going to have a $500 billion infrastructure program. And the next day, Trump said, I'm going to have $1 trillion infrastructure program. Like Trump showing, I'm going to do better than this third base. He never enacted it. He never got the first base on it. It was all BS.
The only thing that I think you could say is that he some of the things that he says sound nice, and he scratches the id of some part of the American working class, and I think that there's truth to that, but I think to then go on to say that he's a New Deal Democrat, I think is actually kind of insulting to American working people that rhetoric is a substitute for actual material change and benefits to us. So.
It's very hard to, I've written a lot about this, and I have a really hard time coming up with, really, I'm not BSing anyone. We could say Trump helped blue collar or low wage or workers in the bottom. He did nothing to raise the minimum wage. He rolled back overtime protections. He rolled back safety protections. Yes, he barked a lot against China, but the measures he took against China were really ineffective and ended up causing us to lose factory jobs. So he talks a good ball, again, I'm a New Yorker. I followed Trump for 40 years. He's a great carnival barker. And it disappoints me that all these Americans, swallow what he says. What I remember when when The Apprentice didn't win an Emmy, he said, they cheated us. We're cheated. We're cheated. This is dishonest. When he lost in 2016, when he lost the Iowa caucus to Ted Cruz, he said, they cheated. This guy is such a BS. Whenever he loses, he says it's cheating. But he's tricked so many Americans to believe that he was cheated in the 2020. I mean, people should see through this guy. He's a extremely dishonest human being, and he's been dishonest from the time he was a Democrat and supported abortion and supported Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton. Leopard doesn't change its spots. So.
Right. Well, Stephen Greenhouse, appreciate your time. I know that we're a bit over when we wanted to wrap it up. So appreciate you hanging out, and sorry that I got you spun up on such a topic as we were trying to get you out of here. Appreciate your time.
Sure.
That was obviously a hilarious face that Stephen Greenhouse made, and it is an appropriate face because it's just such a silly thing to say that Donald Trump is a New Deal Democrat. So not that Stephen Greenhouse needs any help making the case, but I did want to go over some of the tweets, and I had a couple other points myself that I wanted to make. So going back to this tweet here that I have pulled up, Batya, the opinions editor at Newsweek, is replying to Ben Shapiro saying, everyone is ignoring this basic truth about 2024. Donald Trump occupies the moderate middle on many more issues than Biden. That's true on abortion, the border, Ukraine, Israel, China, trans, and equity. Obviously, a silly thing to say, right? That's not true. But Batya said, you want to say a silly thing? Bet. I'll give you one better. Donald Trump is a New Deal Democrat, which is why the left has to destroy him. He's the ghost of pro-labor Democrats past come back to haunt them. And then Ben Shapiro here says, this is totally accurate. The irony is that Biden thinks he's FBR, but he's actually John Kerry. Very, very silly things to say. Donald Trump is a New Deal Democrat. And so, Stephen made some of these points earlier about how Donald Trump has always been a scam artist. He's always been somebody to not pay his employees. He's always been, in it for himself. He's never, been a New Dealer. But additionally, during this last year where we were having the UAW situation popping off, Trump was trying to make a play for the UAW's endorsement and trying to convince the UAW that, no, I'm more pro-auto worker than Biden. And he did that by going to a non-union automotive manufacturing plant at the behest of the boss, at the boss's invitation, to give a speech to a non-union crowd, right? Okay, that is not, that's not pro-labor. That's not a pro-labor thing to do while you're ostensibly supporting UAW workers on strike. That's not pro-labor. Additionally, Donald Trump was president during the last UAW strike. In 2019, UAW workers struck at GM, 40,000 of them across the country. And Donald Trump did not support, he didn't say a mumbling word about the UAW strike in 2019. Additionally, in 2021, UMWA coal miners in Alabama were on strike. Now, Donald Trump was not president at that point, but he was still very much in the political conversation, and he obviously could have supported Alabama's coal miners. He left them on the vine. With the NLRB, Donald Trump's NLRB picks rolled back protections for organizing that workers had, rolled back some pro-union decisions at the NLRB. At the Mine Safety and Health Administration, Donald Trump's appointee rolled back a silica ruling that was going to be coming down from Obama's Mine Safety and Health Administration. And we've talked about the issue with silica here on the program several times, and how there is a new rash of black lung among coal miners today because of silica dust. And there's multiple reasons why black lung is on the rise, but silica dust is a primary factor. And there was a ruling before Trump came in. At MSHA, there was a proposed rule to limit silica exposure and increase mine operators' responsibilities for clearing this dust inside of the mines. And so Donald Trump appointed a coal mine executive to the Mine Safety and Health Administration. And this coal miner executive did exactly what you would think a coal miner boss would do, which is to not institute this proposed rule. And so undoubtedly you can connect Donald Trump's Mine Safety and Health Administration to the deaths of, at minimum, dozens of miners. At minimum, dozens. Probably hundreds of miners. You can connect Donald Trump's administration directly to their deaths, right? And so, when you're thinking about that, in comparison to the New Deal, which was a genuinely transformational package of legislation and reordering of the economic system in American society, it's just totally, not only is it's not, even moving in that direction, it's actually exactly the opposite of what the New Deal was. And not to overstate the New Deal, obviously, the New Deal did not usher in a socialist paradise or anything like that. But the New Deal was very transformational, and it made hundreds of thousands, made millions of workers' lives materially better, shifted the balance of power in their direction. For the first time in American history, the government shifting the balance of power in the direction of the workers. And you had the exact opposite happen under Donald Trump. So it's just a very silly argument. And we told Batya that she is welcome to make that case on our program if she would like. We were going to have her on the program today, and in fact, I'm glad that it didn't work out today, because that would be even more embarrassing to do that with somebody, to have all the technical issues with somebody that you are not friendly with. That would be incredibly embarrassing. So it didn't work out. She's Jewish, so she doesn't do anything on the Sabbath. But we're going to try to schedule a pre-taped conversation with her at some point. So maybe we'll be able to bring that to you, her making the case that Donald Trump is a New Deal Democrat. So there's if you want to support us having that conversation, then, you can give us money for our pain, because I think that will be a very entertaining conversation, but obviously going to say some very, very
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.